What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Well, guys, we obviously have the news now. Anthony Richardson seems to be okay from that vicious hit that he suffered last night against the Baltimore Ravens in the preseason. And, I was looking today just on social media and I saw something that I thought was quite interesting. And I wanted to just talk about it for a few minutes. Kevin Bowen had posted a clip from the morning show that he does with James Boyd and a couple other people. And I wanted to kind of look at that, watch that, give my thoughts on it as well, because it kind of got my mind racing. I was texting Derek a little bit about it, and it makes some sense to me on with some concerns about Anthony Richardson moving forward. And I would love to get your guys' thoughts on it here in a second, but I wanted to share this from Kevin and kind of give my thoughts on it after we kind of hear from what he has to say from a little bit of snippet that he posted online. So I want to share this real quick here.
Anytime he leaves a game due to injury, it's obviously the headline, given who he is, given his injury history, all of that. The more I looked at last night, you hear Richardson talk about the play itself after the game. How the injury occurred is the most damning element of last night. He dislocated his pinky finger on a hit that he didn't see coming. A large percentage of NFL players would probably suffer that same injury. It's more of it was his own fault in misidentifying something that pre-snap is supposed to be rather elementary for NFL quarterbacks. That's the damning issue for me. Again, it comes down to a trust factor. In the preseason, where things are as vanilla as a McDonald's ice cream cone, you don't process that. You don't see that. And there's rookies on that offense, i.e. a rookie running back, who's a fifth-round pick who had pass-catching issues exiting college. He knew what was going on. That, to me, is the bigger issue of who do you trust when it gets real? Because every single NFL team now sees that play last night. Colts are on NFL Network. Everybody's going to watch that. Everyone's going to see that, and they're going to say, how do we make that even more exotic when it's real, when we're actually trying to create havoc for you? I think that is more of the damning issue from last night. You want to be super positive about it, super optimistic. You can say, oh, great. He now sees that. He'll learn from it, et cetera, et cetera. Fine and well. You can go there if you want. But on August 7th, in year 3 of the NFL, you don't want your franchise quarterback, your starting quarterback, to have that big of a misidentification that ends up knocking him out of a game that he desperately needed those reps.
I wouldn't even. Okay, so that was Kevin's comments there that he shared on X just about Anthony Richardson. And honestly, guys, I can't say that I disagree with Kevin's analysis there. I mean, that is my biggest concern with Anthony Richardson. We know there's a lot of concerns with him, right? The injuries being one of those. And I guess, with the injury that happened yesterday, it was because of a misidentification. It was because of something that he should have known as a quarterback that's trying to compete for a starting spot. He should have known that. Now, like he said, you can say, okay, he'll learn from it next time. Obviously, we hope he does. But I think there is an element of this is year 3 for him, right? He should have known that. He should have known that right away. And, if you have rookies out there that know it better than you do, and you're supposed to be the guy calling the plays, and, you're supposed to be the guy that's running this offense, that is very concerning for me. Again, it's preseason, and you're hoping that that can get figured out. But I am a little bit concerned long term of is there some issue there with some of the mental game with Anthony Richardson? Is there an issue there with some of the stuff that if you're going to be a franchise quarterback, you just need to be able to identify these things? I mean, the dude was absolutely oblivious when he took that hit. So that is concerning for me in itself. I mean, we know the reason the Colts took Anthony Richardson was a lot more of the physicals than the mentals, right? We knew that. The physical talent was through the roof. But where I have my concerns, I agree with Kevin. This was only the preseason, and you're already getting, injured because of those lack of mental things that you should have down by now. That is very concerning for me. And, maybe it's an overreaction. It's very well could be. But I kind of get to this point right now, guys, where I am a little bit concerned that what's to say more mental things this year aren't going to lead to more injuries. I mean, honestly, who knows? If that's going to be the case, what happens when you're in 3rd and 5 and all of a sudden, the opposing defense, they send the house and you can't identify the things that you need to identify and you get injured? Like what's going to happen there? So that kind of stuff is very concerning to me. Is the mental side of things that every quarterback has to have. Is there something there where maybe Anthony Richardson isn't up to par with some of the other NFL starting quarterbacks in the in the league? So that is concerning for me. Again, it could be an overreaction. Could have just been a just a one-time thing. I hope that's the case. But long term, there is some questions, and I don't think it's out of bounds there to really be a little bit concerned about that long term for Anthony Richardson. If the mental stuff's not there, there's things that he can identify that, like Kevin said, they're elementary things. That's a lot of a bigger issue than just the physical. Can he stay healthy? There's a lot more going on there. And maybe that's not the case, but I think it's fair to question that and have concerns about that. I know I certainly do have concerns about it. I think it's a very fair analysis for a guy that wants to see Anthony Richardson personally. I want to see him succeed. Of course I do. But I can't ignore some of the obvious things that are showing up. And that is a thing that, was on display last night. And like I said, hopefully it's just a one-time fluke thing, but I am concerned long-term if that is something that continues to be missed, if there's those elementary basic things as a quarterback that you're not doing, it could lead to some bad things here for your offense, especially for a guy that could be your QB1 right now. It is very concerning. So let me know your guys' thoughts, though, in the comments down below. Let me know, do you think I'm overreacting? I have before, but when I kind of listened to what Kevin was saying, I found myself oftentimes shaking my head at that because I really do agree with that analysis that Kevin gave. Is you need whoever your quarterback is, whether it's Richardson, whether it's Daniel Jones, heck, whether it's Riley Leonard for that case, like you need your quarterback to be able to identify those things. You need your quarterback to do the basic things. And if they're not doing that, it's going to be a long season for your passing offense and for your quarterback position. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, all that good stuff. But again, that'll do it for this one, guys. Thanks so much. And as always, go Colts.